Hey, what's going on, everyone? We're going to be talking about shin splints. If you do double unders or running, I run those movements, cause pain in your shins. This video is for you. I hope it helps. This isn't just the only way we can take care of shin splints. This is the way that I've personally found to work better with athletes I've worked with in the track and field world, as well as here at CrossFit Soar. So double unders and running have a tendency for people to get shin splints, and then they stay away from it completely. So first thing first, let's say you do have shin splints. Shin splints are just kind of micro trauma to muscles or sheath on your bone in your shin, and then it gets inflamed and it hurts. So I want you to think about it a little bit like if you've ever gotten elbow tendonitis or maybe a patellar tendonitis. If as you do a movement, something gets worse, you should stop, right? So let's say you got shin splints, you come to the gym, there's box jumps that day, probably not the best option for you, okay? So the main reason why you get shin splints is that you went too high impact, right, too fast, or you went too high volume, too fast. So in the world track and field, my wife and I both coach track and field. At the high school level, my wife was very good at the college and after college level as an athlete herself. And what we'd see is people wouldn't run all summer, and then we'd have our first Monday practice, and we'd have all these kids out there that wanted to do track and field, and we do repeat 400s as a wake-up call to how hard track and field really is, the track side of it, okay? We didn't have our throwers going out there running 400s, 8 sets of them, all right? And then all of a sudden we have a lot of high impact if your technique's bad, and we had a lot of high volume, and everyone's shins would get crushed, right? So we have an obvious problem. So we have 2 ways we can look at this. Number 1, rest until it feels better. Just because it feels a little better, that's not what I'm talking about. Don't go back into it. Rest until you don't have pain while doing movements. So if my knee hurt when I squat below parallel, I would be a fool to keep squatting below parallel. So if I get shin splints while I run or while I do double unders, stop that for the time being and we can work on it. Now, I don't like to do stretching for shin splints just because I find that it makes it worse for a lot of people because they actually don't know what they're stretching. I mean, imagine having like a little tear in your bicep and then let me be like, hey, let me stretch that bicep out harder. Probably don't cause some issues. I'm not a huge fan of stretching. Now, what I would like to see you do is ice those shins, do some foam rolling on them to increase blood flow to the area, flush it out a little bit. If you are going to stretch, you're stretching more backside, calf, Achilles. You can't actually stretch the tendon, right? I'm not talking about stretching the tendon, but stretch out those muscles if you do stretch at all. Now, this is the way that we can build it back up. Number 1, do something as simple, this is going to be funny, as calf raises. And I'm not talking about doing like 2 sets of 10. I'm talking about like 3 to 5 sets times 20 reps. Bent knee, straight legs, seated, standing. Start with just your body weight. Start with just 3 sets and build up over time. Let's get those calves ready. Let's get our feet stronger. Let's get all that stuff working better. So when we go do double unders or running, we're better at it. We have better stability. Now, the next thing is going to sound kind of funny, but check your shoes. If you have really bad shoes, they're worn out, when we do double unders or running, you might have issues. So we had a company called Jump and Rope that came in, taught a double under seminar, and they wear a little bit more of a cushioned shoe while they do it, just because it is so high impact. I know we all love those CrossFit shoes that are really flat, really hard at times, but doing 100, 200, 300 double unders or going out running repeat 400s and 800s in it might not be the best option for you, okay? So check out your shoes, make sure you have enough cushion for what you're doing if it's a lot of high impact, all right, if you don't have the ability to handle it. The other thing I would do is jump rope, single unders I'm talking about, barefoot. And hopefully I spelled barefoot right, because for some reason my mind's blanking out. So jump rope, barefoot. I'm not talking about doing 100 single unders. Put the clock on, 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. Let's get those feet used to absorbing that impact. And plus, you can tell what your feet are really doing, and you'll be able to build up tolerance and build up strength in that area. Excuse me. Now, as far as it comes to actual volume, let's say we have a 400-meter run in a workout, or let's say it's 100 double unders or 50 double unders. Instead of trying to do it straight through and landing hard, you can always split it up by going 20 seconds, 30 seconds on, and then walk. 30-second run, 30-second walk, and split it up that way. And the reason why we do that is because your technique will be better that way. So when it comes to double unders, once people get tired, there's a lot of weird body action that go on, and you can hear their feet hit. If you can hear your feet hit that hard, that shockwave of force is going up your shin, all the way up even to your lower back. Your teeth can even rattle. You can literally see people's jaws go up and down, cranking. So technique is really important. And if we cut down the stress, the time that you're doing it, and rest afterwards, you can actually work on technique. Your stamina will be there to recover to have better technique the next round. And the same thing with running. Me personally, the number one reason why people have shin splints in running is because their technique is awful. They're heel striking, they're spending a ton of time on the ground. So if we're able to go shorter intervals, so short work, a little bit longer rest, as in let me run at a higher cadence and higher speed for 20 seconds and then walk for 40 or 30-30. We can do the same thing with double unders. We're able to focus on having that higher cadence so you have proper foot strike on that ball of the foot instead of heels, and the same thing will happen in double unders. Instead of feet flapping, hitting that ground really hard, we can focus on having that proper technique without worrying about how many reps we're doing or run that full 400 or doing 50 double unders or 100 singlers, whatever it is. All right, so long story short, it's caused by high impact, high volume, right? We have to slowly build it back up. Let's get those calves stronger. This is also a nice way to do a loaded stretch so that we're not doing static stretching. Check out those shoes, see what you're wearing. You might have to wear a softer shoe, a little bit more cushioning at first so your body gets used to it. Jump roping barefoot is a great way to teach your body how to feel that ground, where you want to stabilize, what part of your foot should hit first, because if you land heels, it hurts really bad. You won't do it anymore. Again, build up slow, don't go high volume right away. Let's work on that technique by doing shorter work, longer rest intervals. Start slow with this. If your shins hurt, it takes time for it to go away. There's almost none of us that can sit there and have our feet up all day. We're all walking around. We're all putting stress on those muscles at all times. So watch that volume. Let's get rid of those shin splints. Let me know how it goes.